Hello, everybody, and welcome to Starting Small Music. I'm Justin McCormick, and you're about to hear a conversation with an artist, musician, and music industry professional on their journey and how they got to where they are today. At Starting Small, we like to take you on a journey uncovering the untold stories of your favorite songs and artists. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Just keep a smile on your face and it'll be okay. Try not to be bitter, you gotta do it either way. Keep a smile on your face and it'll be okay. So when life throws a jab, you gotta duck out of the way.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Starting Small Music Podcast. Today we have Jake Kinney, tour manager for Connor Smith. How you doing today, Jake?
Good, man. Thank you so much for having me, man.
Of course, man. So glad to have you on the show. So getting right into your story, you grew up in Albany, Georgia. What was your childhood like down there?
Well, you pronounce it Albany. It's two syllables there, man.
Albany, right?
Dude, no, but it was great, man. It was great. So I actually listened to JD Groover's prepping for this, and he said he grew up in the best place ever. He's wrong. I think if you go 2 hours west of my hometown, then that's the best place ever. But dude, Albany was amazing. A lot like you kind of hear from all these small town folks about growing up in towns where there wasn't much to do, and so you kind of had to make your own fun. So that's what we did, man. We went out to my buddy's farms and spent our time outside hunting, fishing. Honestly, more than hunting, fishing, just being outside and making use of the land, whatever you can find fun doing. So, man, it was fun. I grew up in the same hometown as Dallas Davidson, Luke Bryan, Cole Swindell, Philip Phillips. Ray Charles was born there. Otis Redding was actually born there too. Moved to Macon 2 hours south a few days after he was born. But yeah, he was born there. So it felt like you're in a musical hub from afar. A lot of country music fans and just music fans in general that almost saw from like a 30,000 foot view kind of what was going on in all these artists' lives that were from their hometown. So it was great. I was a fan, man. I was a fan since birth.
For sure. Now, growing up around the house, who are some of the first bands or artists you listened to that you kind of felt a connection to music with growing up?
That interesting question. So, like I said, Luke and Cole are from our hometown. So, almost immediately, let's see. I guess Luke was taken around 2010, and I would have been 8 years old when that happened. And so, Luke, all of his first songs, all my friends say, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
It was being played on repeat on the radio. And so you get in your car and it's like, our hometown boy, Luke Bryan, he put Albany, Georgia, Leesburg, Georgia on the map. So he was a massive influence. And then Cole came right after him. Philip Phillips went to American Idol, won the thing. And you know, when you go to American Idol, they bring you back to your hometown right before the finale. And so that was really cool. He came back to our hometown and played Lee County High School, not where I went to school, but where a lot of my buddies went to school. And you got to see him play on the football field. It was so cool. But more than that, man, my dad was in like a 9-piece soul band. And it was honestly more of like a wedding party band and whatnot. But I grew up on all that good stuff, the Temptations, just soul music, James Brown, all that good stuff. And so I feel like I got a good arsenal of all these different types of genres growing up, man.
No doubt. Now, what age did you end up picking up the drums then? Was it pretty early on?
Wow. You know, I play drums, man.
Oh, of course, man.
You did your research. Let's see, probably around 11, 12 years old, did that and played and took lessons for about a year or two. And then just about like everybody else, my church needed a drummer. And so I just hopped in there in middle school and started playing drums. My dad was leading worship at church. And so I was right behind him on the kit, laying down the grooves, dude. And it was so much fun. And yeah, man, that's I've never gotten that question before. That's amazing.
Now, were you playing in bands like in your local area at all, or was it mostly just church at that time?
It was mostly church. I had the thought of playing in bands and whatnot, opening up for other buddies and doing that thing. You know, you play the showcases and the talent shows and stuff. I won the talent show, my school's talent show, which was a big deal at the time. But $500 for a middle schooler is pretty good.
You're a millionaire at that point.
Yeah, I know, man. That's like 50 Sonic trips. But yeah, I really didn't play around that much. I ended up right before I got out of high school, I ended up falling in love with the business side of the music industry. So quickly transitioned into that.
Now, I saw when you were super young, you were like getting to meet a lot of artists backstage, like after their shows. Was there any artists that you met that you talked to that kind of made you see like just like all these huge artists just as normal people, like from a young age?
Yeah, man. Honestly, to start, it was probably Luke Combs. Luke Combs, my sister. So the kind of tap into that note, my sister was a publicist for two labels, Universal Music Group and then Sony Music Group. Now she works at Spotify. So ever since I was probably about 10 years old, I was growing up sort of backstage around all these artists. And I vividly remember there was a Jason Aldean show at Truist Park, where Hootie and the Blowfish came back together to open up for him. And Luke was like the third of five act on the bill. And that's right as Luke was taken. Hurricane was taken. He had just gotten signed to Sony, all that good stuff. And my sister was his publicist. And so I was able to go to that show and meet Luke, and just as much of a human as everybody else is. And honestly, just one of the best guys. Has kept his head through all of it. And to this day, whenever I see Luke, he's just as much of a buddy as everybody else is. So, man, that's kind of where it started, dude.
That's awesome. Now, you mentioned your sister, Mary Catherine. She worked her way all the way up from receptionist at Universal to now head of artist partnerships at Spotify. What was that like to see that kind of rise just in high school when you're thinking about getting into the music business?
Well, until recently, man, I didn't realize how crazy that is. I mean, you have to work your way up from a receptionist to where she is now. You really have to put your head down and realize the bigger picture there. And so being able to see it, I think whenever from my small town and from growing up around Albany, even though Luke and Cole and Philip all came from right where we were at, and you kind of got to see their careers, but whenever from my hometown, whenever someone was involved with all these massive artists that were taking, it was cool in general. Now whenever I was that young, I didn't realize the difference between a receptionist and a publicist. So, but now I do. And it was so cool being able to see that take, going up to Capitol Records and touring Capitol Records and be able to see just all the plaques and murals of all the artists and whatnot, and meeting the CEOs and all the people behind the business. I think that's kind of where I first started realizing, oh gosh, this is like a legit industry. And then a few years later, whenever my sister worked her way up to a little bit higher position, her taking me to dinners and the studio. She took me to the studio with Tyler Childers recording his Spotify single sessions with where was it? It was it was the Butcher Shop. It was this crazy studio under this abandoned, almost these like abandoned buildings. It's where Johnny Cash and John Prine had recorded some of their first records and whatnot. And it was really, really cool, dude. And so whenever I walked in there, it was like, okay, she kind of knows what she's doing.
Now, you talked about going out to dinners. I heard you mention going to an early dinner with Kappy, Luke Combs' manager. Kind of talk about how that relationship started and kind of how he inspired you to want to get into management.
Yeah, man. I mean, back to Mary Catherine being his publicist. I think Kappy has, since the jump, I think that dinner was in 2019, and he took me to a nice steak dinner. And how could you deny a nice steak dinner when you're 16 years old? And anyways, yeah, man, he basically just kind of took me under his wing, starting with that dinner. He took me to dinner, and explain the tiers of management, how you have an overall manager and you have a business manager, you have a tour manager day to day. And then you have partnerships with the label and publishing companies. Within the label, you have publicists and radio teams and creative teams and digital teams and all that good stuff. And through that, the crazy 16-year-old Jake Kinney decided, oh my gosh, that's what I want to do. And so anyways, Kappy, ever since that dinner, has really just been in my corner. And any question I've ever had, he's been the first to pick up the phone and answer it, and kind of walk me through. I was it's crazy kind of how the Lord works. And from that dinner, I got to work for Kappy directly under him all this past summer, and go into rooms that I probably shouldn't be in, but I ended up in. And he really is just invested in me, and he does it with everybody, man. He's truly one of a kind, and really takes people under their wing and invest in the younger generation. And sort of that's kind of what I want to do, man. Whenever I get his age, I want to be investing in the new generation of guys making it in Nashville, and he's doing it right now, man. So I'm so appreciative of him and like what he's seen in me throughout all these years.
Now, what was it like being 16 and already knowing that you want to go into music management? I feel like there's not a lot of high schoolers out there that are saying like, I want to manage like the biggest artists in country.
Well, honestly, it's a dream 100%. And whenever you get into the thick of the dream, you realize what it all entails. And so I think that's what like me and you understand now, but the world itself doesn't understand what goes into managing an artist. So but it's still the dream, man. So shortly after that dinner, Luke was playing his first arena tour. And so I went to the first date on his first arena tour, and it was at the BJCC in Birmingham. And the feeling that I had, like the second hand, I don't even know. I was so proud of, I had met Kappy years ago, and I obviously know my sister my entire life. And to see Luke walk on a stage in front of 13,000 folks and all of them be screaming his songs, I cried, dude. I cried. It was like I couldn't hold it back. It was insane. Yeah. And so and I sat there and I was like, holy crap. I saw the look on Kappy's face, because I was sitting there kind of right above side stage. And so I could watch Kappy the entire time. I could watch Nicole, Luke's wife, the entire time, and see how proud they were of Luke really putting his head down and chasing this dream and it coming true. And honestly, like seeing, holy crap, okay, we just sold out this first arena in this 50 show arena tour, and we still got a long ways to go. And it's true, man. I'm sitting here with like a banner of a sold out Luke Combs Stadium, and they had a vision, and they pursued it. And seeing that happen, man, I was like, I want to do that. I want my artist walking on stage and me having that same exact feeling that I did that night in 2019 whenever Luke walked on stage. So yeah, man.
Right. So stepping away from management for a second, going back to drumming, I saw in 2017 you actually got to play with Maren Morris for a show. How did that happen?
Yeah, dude, that was fun. My sister was actually her publicist at the time, and so that was a Christmas present. That was whenever I was. That's when I was in the thick of drumming and the creative side of music. Mary Catherine was honestly kind of trying to get me like, oh, they're like, hey, management's really cool too. You get to travel and see your family. And so for Christmas, she gifted me the opportunity to play at the Georgia Theater with Maren Morris sound check. I got the sound check. I didn't play the actual show, which was pretty cool. But that was insane, man. I went and got with my drum teacher and learned 80s Mercedes. And thankfully, I'd learned to play to a click track from playing in church and whatnot. And so, man, it was amazing. It was a great experience. Full circle moment, because now I'll go to school at UGA. I'm here in Athens, and I've done, probably since I've been at UGA, I've probably done 35, 40 shows at the Georgia Theater in some capacity. And so it's so full circle that's like one of the first shows I really ever got to be a part of, and industry wise.
That is crazy. Now,
Yeah, man.
you ended up going on to launch your own company, See a Bubba Artists, and manage several artists. And now you're the tour manager for Connor Smith. Kind of how did your years managing artists early on kind of shape you to be able to tour manage Connor Smith now?
Yeah, man. Um, like I've kind of tapped on earlier, you don't realize what it all entails until you're thick of it.
Yeah.
And so, man, I started managing this rock band that asked me to be their photographer 2.5 years ago, and so I got into that deal and learned how to break bands through live shows, and then had 2 country clients that I learned really like the political side of Nashville very well in, and then the door opened for Connor to be able to go on the road with him, and he's going to be his right hand out on the road. And so through that, man, I took everything that I learned in management, all the back end stuff, and have been able to apply it to Connor's vision and his career. We take a really ordinary approach of building through the live show. And I've always been it, man, and Kappy taught me this. He's like, we're fans first, dude. We're fans first. Any show we show up to, fans are always first. So we really try to take care of them, and we really believe that the fans are what shape careers. Without them, we wouldn't be anywhere we wouldn't be here, and we won't be where we want to be years down the road without them buying tickets, man. So we try to take care of them, all the DMs, all the meet and greets and all that good stuff. We take all the fans into account and try to help them out as much as possible. So man, it's those years of management really did shape me, and I'm really thankful for them, and I'm so thankful for where I'm at right now with Connor. So yeah.
Now, take me through your typical day on the road as a tour manager.
Yeah. So right now we are in a Sprinter and trailer. So we are still dogging it on the road. Fingers crossed we'll be in a bus at the top of the year, but who knows? This is the first. Hopefully, guys, y'all see us on the second leg of the Creek Will Rise tour and in a bus. But right now, I mean, it's thankfully, and I say that we're still dogging on the road. We bring out like 1 or 2 drivers depending how long the routes are and whatnot. But usually I'm the first to wake up around 7-8 a.m. Most times it's in the front seat of the van, and I walk inside, and it depends. Based on if we're doing a support act out with Luke Bryan all summer. My days are a little bit different with Luke Bryan than I will be in the next couple months on the Creek Will Rise, a headlining tour. So man, we get in and I go and take a shower, try to have a little bit of time with the Lord, and then kick off the day, man. It's a lot of planning. The mornings are obviously the best before all of my guys are up and everybody's nagging each other, trying to figure out details for the day. But a lot of the prep work and tour management is done prior, man. It's done right now on a Tuesday back in Athens. And if you're able to do all the prep work in advance, then your days out on the road become a lot easier. But getting all the meet and greets set up, getting the set time set up, radio room, man. We got to talk to those radio folks. Making sure like catering's there, making sure all your guys know where catering is. And then a lot of it's just day by day stuff, show by show stuff. A lot of times we'll show up and Connor needs to do an all-site radio visit. Sometimes we'll show up and he needs to go, or he wants or gets to go to the local college and tour the football facility or hit baseballs with the baseball team and whatnot. So it's a lot of just being there with him, making sure he's all right, and then prepping for next days, prepping post-show food, man. You got to find the best place to eat late night in the market, and make sure the runner's coordinated to get there for all your guys later. So it's fun, man. It's fun. No day's the same, and I'm thankful for that, no doubt.
Now, working with a lot of younger artists, what's a mistake you see some young artists make that you'd say to watch out for?
Man, I don't think there's any mistakes, because I mean, we see it with a lot of artists popping off right now. Speaking of Luke, man, everybody said Luke was making mistakes, and he would never work. Everybody's saying Zach Bryan's making mistakes and he's not working. But I mean, man, you can't argue with stadium sellouts. So, man, I think I can tell you what is winning, and authenticity is winning with an artist. Authenticity is winning, and authenticity in your music, your personality, and how you portray yourself to the general public is winning. And so, I encourage all new artists to do that. Be themselves and create the music that you really want to create, and be able to stand on 2 feet for what you believe, man. A lot of people will try to shape what you believe and the art that you put out, but man, it's your art, so completely own it, and I think the rest will fall into place.
Now, I like to close my interviews by asking, this might be piggybacking off of that one, but just any advice you have for artists out there and also people that want to be in your position as a manager.
Yeah, man. I mean, I feel like I just kind of gave the artist advice. Just authenticity is winning, man. Be authentic, be yourself. Fans love it. It's what we're seeing right now. It's just fans love the true raw content of who you are. For someone getting in my position, I mean, best piece of advice that I've received is actually from Mandolin Monchick, Lainey Wilson's manager, who is a golly amazing. She's so sick. Seeing Lainey's rise over the last few years has been really cool, and so I'm so thankful for her. But anyways, it's pretty simple, and like I said, you learn a lot about the political side of Nashville whenever you get into Nashville and get into management. And that's really the only way to learn. But the best is simple, dude. It's a lot easier to do business with people whenever you're nice.
Yeah.
So just be a good guy. A lot of people try to make it a lot harder than it needs to be, and dude, it's a lot easier to do business with people whenever you're nice to them. So that's the best piece of advice I've received. What I can give is that man, getting in this industry is a lifestyle. Living this dream is a lifestyle, and so you have to 100% want to dive in. And if you can see yourself doing anything else, it's the hard truth is just it may not be the right place for you. You can't see yourself wanting anything else because everybody else wants to pursue this dream.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment, and check out my music on all streaming platforms at Justin McCormick. See you guys next time.